Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and today we're gonna unbox and create with the first UpCrate of 2022. Of course, it goes without saying, if you do enjoy these kinds of videos and you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button, support the channel, and as well it's going to minimise the risk of you missing out on other videos like this in the future. Enough waffling about that though. Let's take a look inside. So this month's featured artist is Miranda Mellencamp. I think I've pronounced that correctly, and it's a very nice abstract print. And as we delve further inside, I'm sure you'll have noticed we have two small bottles of Liquitex acrylic paint, as well as two Amsterdam acrylic paints, a palette knife, a flat paintbrush and a pencil. We of course also get a sticker sheet as well as the UpCrate publication, which is in every box, and I am liking this square format UpCrate. That is pretty cute. There's a good 72 pages in here, so this is why we're flicking through them quite quickly these days, but I appreciate the effort that's gone into that, and I do enjoy mulling over it with a nice cup of tea. Now here's for the fun part. Now I've made it quite clear over the time of my channel that acrylics are not my most favourite type of paint. I just can't get used to the different levels of body there is with the paint, thickness, opacity, you name it, they're all different. And then you've got the drying time. I'm either too impatient or it's dried before I've known it. However, I did quite enjoy this box. We have a Rembrandt pencil, and that is in B. We also have a very nice paintbrush, which is a Lineo brush series 573, and it's in a size 8. And it's nice. I don't mind a flat brush, especially for acrylics. You can get very thin lines as well as very broad strokes with it. The paints I'm swatching now are the Liquitex soft body acrylic. They have a very nice sort of, I guess, silk finish to them, and we have a muted turquoise as well as a muted violet, and you got me there at muted. And then, as a huge contrast and juxtaposition of the colour scheme so far, we have this bright yellow fluorescent acrylic paint by Amsterdam, as well as a titanium white. The titanium white had a nice good coverage, a couple of coats of that white and you'll have an opaque layer. And that fluorescent one, well, I'm sorry UpCrate, I think you should have provided some sunglasses with this box because the camera doesn't do it justice. It really is dazzling. We have 3 sheets of Canson acrylic paper, that's 400 GSM. It's lovely and thick and has a slight texture to it too. We get 3 sheets of that. I must admit I might be curious enough to purchase some of that in the future, however I need to get rid of the, well, not get rid of, but just use up the current paper selection. This month's challenge is what can you see, and well, I'm not really sure how to interpret it this particular occasion, so I might leave that for a beyond the box moving forwards anyway. The other material that we had in this box, which to be honest is the star of today's show, and that is the Talons palette knife, and that's a 3015, whatever that means in the world of palette knives. It has a diamond edged, well, diamond shaped tip, and as you can see on screen, it is beautiful at spreading this paint. I wanted to set myself a little bit of a challenge with this box once I'd realised what was in there, and I didn't actually want to paint with the brush. I wanted to see what I could achieve with the palette knife, and I just roughly sketched out, as you saw earlier, a profile of a face, and I wanted to just experiment about different ways of mark making, I guess, and not fully mixing the colour on the palette knife. There's something quite nice about seeing that marble texture of 2 contrasting colours being smeared across the page. Adding the white to the Liquitex turquoise brought out this beautiful teal colour. It kind of unmuted it in a way, which is quite bizarre, but it worked very nicely with the white next to the full colour, if that makes any sense. And as you can see, we've got some really nice textures going on there. I only really used the paintbrush to mix things in the pan, and I'd only really go to town in it if I wanted a solid colour, but pretty much everything else was half mixed and left to it. The violet colour is gorgeous. Honestly, if I could squeeze that onto some toast and eat it, it probably would kill me and be disgusting and poisonous, but my imagination says it's delicious. And it looked delicious. It spread beautifully as well. I used it to begin with the white, just to add a few tonal areas. I also tried mixing that fluorescent yellow in there, and we got a pretty horrible vomity colour there, I'm not going to lie, but I put it on there anyway because it's experimenting. Like I say, I wanted to just play about and see what I could do with this. I kind of realised though it's at this stage that the fluorescent yellow wasn't quite working how I wanted it to be, so I went for more tonal variations than trying to get some sort of accuracy. So I mixed that violet, that muted violet, with the white, and we ended up with this rather nice, I want to say a mauve colour or a very muted lilac, I guess. If any of the colours retained that mutedness, there's your word for the day, then I would say it was that one. It just remained quite unsaturated. That was obviously colour there, but it wasn't quite how the turquoise worked when that was mixed with the white. You guys know what I mean. Moving forwards, it's time to add in the hair detail, and I thought that this red violet, I thought it looked more burgundy than violet, but I guess it's how you perceive these colours. But I absolutely loved dragging it over the page. You can see all of those textures underneath. I wanted an area, or at least some areas on here where it was the neat colour, so you could see the properties of that gorgeous paper. As I was doing this as well, I was kind of learning about different ways to make marks on the page. I didn't fancy scraping anything off, so I didn't go down that route, but different angles in which you held the knife and pressed it into the paper, and different pressures as well as you were dragging it along affected just how much of that grainy detail came out. I'm sure you've seen me applying the paint to the palette knife, and again, that was my only area where I felt I'd got any true control, and that was just to put the amount of paint I wanted onto the knife before placing it down. So I guess while we're at this stage, while past me is filling all the details in there and showing you all the different mark making, I must admit I quite enjoyed this box. I still feel it's a little bit close to the last acrylics box we had. It was only a couple of months ago. However, I am much more in favour of this way of applying things. I feel like everything in this box worked well. Even the fluorescent yellow, which honestly is the most obnoxious colour you could put in there. I love how that worked with those muted tones. It stopped the muted toned box being a depressive box and just added this wow of colour in there, and I really liked it. It's not my favourite medium. It's something I'm working off camera to improve anyway, and to be honest, to be able to just have in essence a kit which encourages me to think about different applications, I'm pretty happy with that. I love that palette knife. It's such a really nice quality palette knife as well. I keep going on about it, but maybe UpCrate, you might have changed my mind about acrylics. I'm really happy as well that I got to try some Liquitex paint. It's not the cheapest of acrylics, so that usually puts me off from buying it, you know, with it not being my favourite material, but I'm actually really glad I got to try it, and such unique colours as well. I mean, I know I can mix my own. I know muted colours exist in the watercolour world. I never thought that there would be, I don't know, a specific acrylic range, and I'm really glad I discovered it. You never know, it might just sway me a little bit more to enjoying this medium, and maybe one day once I feel a bit more confident in using it in a style a little bit more like me with a brush, I might do a video using them. But personally, for now, I just want to build my skills off camera and then share with you what I've learned along my little private acrylic paint journey. Anyway, I feel like I've waffled a little bit there. So it came to adding this fluorescent yellow, and I thought, well, it's so bright, let's use it for highlights. And I wanted to see what it would look like dragged across that muted blue combination in the background. I liked it. I love the textures it caused. It was great, and adding it on top of a dried layer of acrylics as well, again, just created a different texture altogether. In fact, I ended up going in there with that muted blue just to add a bit of shadow and depth to a hair, but not all over. I still wanted to keep that texture. Now, is it the prettiest painting I've ever done? Absolutely not, no. But I love the different mark making that this box encouraged me to do, so I'm quite pleased with that. The only main criticism is I think UpCrate should have put some sunglasses in there for that yellow paint. Anyway, of course, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I enjoyed this box. If you've enjoyed this video, there should be some more on screen I think you're going to enjoy, including a recent brusho one. Of course, thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you lovely lot soon. Bye!